Oh, crap. Let's do this then. Okie dokie. Which camera am I on? Here we go. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Graybeard Podcast. I am Jim, the host of this here show, and sometimes I like doing these. If you feel free to jump in the chat, you guys on YouTube, feel free to do that. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I forgot I have a mute button in front of me. This, like I said in the description for the video here for this live, this is going to be a YouTube exclusive only. You won't be able to. I'm not going to like post the audio of this anywhere. But my cameras just went out again. Oh, there we are. Hello. Okay. I'm having an issue with cables tonight. So if the cameras go out, I'll just keep talking and try to adjust it as I go. But like I said, we are, sometimes I just like doing this where it's just me and you, and I get to rant. I get to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and there's no one here to like really stop me. So, I not that I like that. I don't. Which kind of leads me to, and I know I've said this and reiterated this so many times in the past, but like what this podcast is. What is this podcast? Who is the Graybeard Podcast? Well, I have a gray beard. It was like real easy. Now I'm trapped by my beard. I can't shave it. However, I will say that like I'm selling merch, and if I can get like at least 15 people to pre-order, this is not my merch, but if I can get about 15 people to pre-order, I can go ahead and have the shirts and hats made. Times are tough, so I'm not out here looking to spend my own money, on doing that stuff. So I'm gonna spend your money, but we get to 15, I shave it live. So it could be fun if you're interested in seeing that. You want to see what I look like without the old beard. Maybe start pumping that out and buying some merch. And I do want to say thank you to those that have already reserved your merch. I appreciate you. But like this podcast, it started out as, I'm a photographer. So it started out as a photography, videography, and audio engineering type of podcast, even though I have zero formal training in any of those categories, like zero. And with that being said, I don't think that that's a big deal. A lot of these things you can kind of learn on the fly. The only one that is questionable to me is the audio. And there's only certain parts of the audio engineering that I think you would need to go to school to learn. Like how to learning all your levels and learning what each what a noise gate is, what compression is, those types of things, learning how to use those things, and maybe then possibly also learning how to use Adobe Audition or whatever audio editing program you're using. However, most of them are very user-friendly. The only applications, in my opinion, that are not user-friendly are the Adobe suite, the Adobe products. They are not made for beginners. They're made for people that know how to use every function inside the system. And there's so much packed in there. There's so much detail. There's so much that can be done. But yeah, it's definitely not a beginner's tool. So with that being said, but this podcast started out kind of everything that I would learn, I would share with you. So if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from, I kind of go all over the place. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I follow some people on, I think Google is. I can't remember. I know they got rid of one major one, but there's Google Podcasts. There's Amazon Music. You can get podcasts on, and we're on all of them. But if you go there, I believe it's like the first 50 episodes. It's just me talking. There might be one or two thrown in there where it's like, my friends and whatnot. And, where we did like a couple sit downs. But for the most part, like 99% of them are just me talking about what I've learned and trying to share it with you in a way that you can understand. Because in my experience on YouTube University, there was a lot of people that were like, their biggest thing was their cinematography and the way that they edited, and whatever they're talking about becomes lost because all you're thinking about is, wow, how that looks so good. How do I do that? How do I make my stream look like that? How do I make my videos for YouTube look like that? So cinematic and what have you. And that was basically me in a nutshell. And not only that, but then they would talk about, specs on cameras and this and that. And I'm going to be honest with you. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, this show is heavily opinion based. There's not a lot of factual information here unless I'm coming to you with something that I've actually learned how to physically do, and I'm going to do that. But the majority of, in my opinion, I don't give a shit what you shoot with. I really don't care. I really don't think it matters. Being able to get a good photo is the most important thing. Now, in terms of why you might, here we go again. In terms of why you might need to learn some of the specs is because there's different types of photography. There's different types of, if you're into like sports or fast cars or motorcycles or whatever, you're going to need something with a high shutter count, like a super fast camera that just you can shoot off. Like my R5 is a pretty fast camera. I feel like with the High Speed Plus, I would probably be able to handle most any. Oh, my kid's texting me. Suppose I'm doing a podcast. Okay. Anyways, if you're shooting like bands and what have you, and you're in a low light situation, there's certain specifics that you're going to want to have in a camera for that. So there are certain situations where you'll need to understand, but if you're in that field, if that's what your niche is, you're going to understand already. You're going to know what you need because what you started with didn't quite work. So now you've had to go, okay, let me do a little bit of research, and you can look those things up yourself. Honestly, I want to know how the camera works in real world, what it's best for, what's the best spend for me? What's the most ROI? What is the ROI I'm going to get on this camera versus this camera? Those are the things that I want to be told, from a YouTube creator. Now, again, I will never tell anyone how to create content. Let them make their content how they feel like making it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't change who I am or how I do my thing. But I'm getting off topic. The reason we're here. Okay, so it started out as all of that. You see, I can already rant. You already see that. So we're going to go some places, maybe. And I'm only going to try and keep this to like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Let me just make sure my clock is up. Okay. So I've either started or, starred in a couple of different podcasts and produced podcasts over the last like 5 years. And this podcast has been the only one that's been like consistent through all of them. They've all fallen off and they're no longer, they've been dissolved or what have you, but this one's been constant. So there was a point after like episode 50 somewhere in there, that I had all of this stuff that I had set up with a partner of mine. And we're not going to get into that because I don't really like talking bad on myself or anyone else. I just don't. It's not. There's no point in it. But we separated. He took all his equipment. I took whatever I had, and then I was like, well, I want to set this thing up, and so I bought some new equipment with credit, and I had it all sitting out here ready to go. I mean, I could have interviewed people back then, ready to roll, but I just kept doing it by myself, and I had all this gear out here, and one of my buddies came over and he goes, "Why aren't you interviewing people?" And I just kind of put it in the back of my head. I didn't think much about it. And then I had a client that was left over from a business that I had previously. And that client was coming in, and she was bringing her guests into this space, and they loved it. But their one critique was, "Hey, man, these chairs are horrible. If we're paying you for this, I want to make sure my butt is comfortable." And I said, okay. So I started looking on Marketplace. I found my friends over at Collab Cafe. Shout out. I don't know what these buttons are, so I'm not going to. Wait a minute. Shout out. Collab Cafe. Anyhow, but I bought some chairs from those guys, and while I was there, they kind of said, "Hey, why aren't you doing that?" And then I started going to their they have these events at their place, and it's been a while since they've actually had one and facilitated one. So, but they're, just kind of get-togethers, networking events for photographers, models, you name it. And I started going there and actually networking with people, and I met some really cool people, and it was just one of those things where it was like, well, I got this stuff, and then everybody kind of found out in the group that I have a podcast, and I just started having all of them on the podcast. And to this day, I still have people come on the podcast that I met back then, which is really fucking cool. But all that being said, I got to a point where I was just like, am I only going to interview models and photographers and whatnot? So I was like, And at the time it was called Archetype Aperture, and I always feel like a name has to explain what the podcast or what the thing is. And I'm not always correct in saying that. So, but at that point I was like, well, if I'm going to start interviewing people and they're not just these things, I want to have like kind of a generic, not generic, but like something that signifies it's me, and something that doesn't signify that it's only photography. Now, do I still have a lot of photographers come on? Yeah, I do, because that's what I know. That's what I love. And it is a passion of mine. Let's see. Anywho, my daughter keeps texting me, "You're in the podcast, Bianca." But yeah, so that is why we are the Graybeard Podcast, and that is why it is what it is, and that's what we're doing here today. Now, since I got all of that out, I do want to say that if you would like to call in to the show, you can do that. Now, I'm not giving you my phone number, though I will be facilitating it through my phone. You can call through Instagram. All of the social medias have little phone call dealies on them. You can do that. If you for some reason, if you can't reach me through there, or if you can't whatever, if it's blocked you or something like that, if I have a lock on, which my account is public, it shouldn't. It would be on your end, but you would just have to go into settings and fix that. But feel free to call me. My phone is open and ready to go. So. I'm going to make a quick story while we're on here. Hey, boy. Well, I got to hit the record button first, right? Hello, boys and girls. We're live on the podcast currently. So if you're joining us, you can hear me making this little story or reel or whatever. If you would like to call into the show, you can do that. Just go into Instagram, go to messages, and hit the call button on my account. Okay, and I'll be talking to you. Don't know who's going to call, if anybody will. But if you do, please come and do that now. I'd love to talk to you. See ya. Okay, and away she goes. That's just how I do those things. I don't really plan them. I don't script them. That is another thing about this podcast is I don't script anything. If I script anything, it would be an intro of someone that I'm really excited to have on or what have you. But for the most part, I shoot from the hip. Okay, I don't know. I just don't believe in scripting. I feel like you lose something, if that makes sense. To me, it loses soul, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just one of those deals where I don't like that. I don't like it at all. There was stuff I wanted to talk about, and we're gonna get there. Okay, let me take a quick sip. Sorry. I should label you Coffee Cam. I'm not going to do all that. So I had a quick debate. It wasn't an argument, but it was kind of a debate with my girlfriend's sister, Amanda, who's been on the podcast before. If you haven't watched that, you should for sure go back and watch that episode. It was great. She's awesome. I love her, and hopefully I'll see her tomorrow. At any rate, we were talking about. I saw a video on Instagram, and maybe I'll share it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Maybe I'll have to send it to myself. Hold on. It's in my stories. Let me go. Let's see here. Boop, boop. No.
I don't know how many real friends you've got. Start a business.
Okay. We're gonna show you guys this video, and I had some real thoughts about this. Okay, I thought deeply about it. The video made me feel some kind of way. I get it, but let me just show it to you, then we'll discuss it. Okay. Let's see. Okay.
Just watch. Watch who reposts, watch who ignores it, watch who suddenly goes quiet. Most people love the idea of you right up until it makes them uncomfortable. They'll hype strangers before they'll support the person they actually know. And some aren't watching to support you. They're watching you fail. And when it's all said and done, you'll see how few are left. You want to know how many real friends you've got? Start a business. Drop a song, try to sell your art. Then just watch. Watch who reposts, watch who ignores it, watch who suddenly goes.
Okay, hold on one sec. So, wrong camera. Boop. It's nice to have someone doing this because I suck at it, obviously. So that I don't want to. Let me turn this off because I don't want to give her any more, airtime than she needs. Anyways, I felt some kind of way about it, and I'm gonna read you what I wrote. Okay. Oh no. There's nothing new. Stop, fucker. So I wrote, I don't give a fuck if you share, like, watch, or interact with my shit! Exclamation point. If you're, should I read it? I'll read it the way I wrote it. You my friend. Bitch, I ain't asked for all of that. Being a friend doesn't mean you are required to support me. It doesn't mean you have to like or agree with what I'm doing. It means we're friends because you love me. The internet isn't real, but love is the only thing that's real. So don't you worry, my guy, girl, non-binaries. I ain't gonna sweat it if I don't see you in the comments, because, motherfucker, I love you right back. So what I mean by that is there is a real reason that a lot of people, I mean, and I think like I said, I think very deeply about these things. I feel like there is a reason sometimes why your family or your friends, they don't support you in the way that is obviously free, sharing, liking, commenting, whatever. All of those things require it doesn't require much. It's free. It's easy to do, and it's a great way to support your favorite creator. But say like I wouldn't expect my mother to repost a podcast that I did. I cuss a lot. I say things that she may not agree with. I have a different view than she has. And the people that watch her page, her family and her friends, or the rest of my family and her friends that maybe I don't know, maybe they wouldn't appreciate that. Okay. If you're a if you're like sorry, Amanda, I'm not trying to pick on you, but if you're a fitness instructor and I had a podcast where, we talked about aliens and stupid shit, unless it like made you laugh or something. Like, I don't understand why you would, if it doesn't fit your brand, I get if you don't want to do that. Now, of course, you're more than welcome to do it. I don't care. And of course, I appreciate it. But if you don't, I will understand. And I don't care. There's a lot of things I see. First of all, the algorithm on Instagram is as whack. Okay, it's wiggity whack, and I don't like it. I don't see any people that I actually follow, barely. I mean, and when I do, I give them the like, and sometimes I'll hit them with a comment, and sharing things is just, I haven't done it lately, and I know I should probably do better, right? But no one seems to be in my friend circle. No one seems to be upset if I'm not out here sharing their shit to my stories. Okay. Everybody that I've talked to, they still love me. They're still my friend. They're not going to like stop being my friend because, I didn't share something that they did. Now, again, if it's something that I see that inspires me or makes me laugh or, what have you, I'm going to share those things. That's just how I do it. I keep my page light. I try to keep it fun and, not really informative because we're not like an information podcast. It's more so about the people. I also am really bad at trying to grow my page. I couldn't give a crap less if I'm growing my page or not. Okay. And now that's a double-sided coin or, what do you call it? A double-edged sword, because for me, it's really important that I push out the people that come on the podcast so that they see a significant increase or any increase in their viewing circle at all. That's what I want. I don't care about myself. I do want those people to be seen. I want people to go to their pages. I want people to interact with them who believe in what they're doing and or just like their story or whatever. Maybe they get some more business, a new client, what have you. Those are the things. That is the main reason that I do this. I want people to sell more books. I want people to get more, clients in their barber chair and their tattoo chair. I want people to, start more podcasts. I want people to start listening to, local podcasts. These are all the people that I have had on, some of the people that I've had on. Hire another photographer, hire a videographer. These are all things that I want you to do when you watch this video or when you watch this podcast or listen to it. That is the sole reason. So I'm trapped in this conundrum because I really hate social media. I like doing this. I like talking to you, but I don't like social media. So what is one to do? Because there's all these stupid ass tricks that you have to do to gain followers. And I couldn't give a shit about followers. Okay. That is the weirdest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Even subscribers seems weird, but it seems less weird than followers. I have always been a natural leader in my job, in my life, with my kids, what have you. But I don't want you to follow me. That sounds creepy. Okay. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your internet daddy. Yeah, we're not going to go down that road either. But yeah, that's not what I'm here to do. What I'm here to do is to invite you to learn about these people that I have on the show so that they maybe can get a little more exposure on their doing their craft, doing whatever it is that they do. And or I just have friends over and sometimes we just laugh together and we cut up and we say dumb things and we bullshit together. And those to me are some of the funnest podcasts. I like it when I have friends over and we don't have to worry about being pretentious and being so where did you grow up? Which is one of the questions I normally ask when I really, especially if it's someone I have never met. But which that is the way I like my podcast to go. I don't do any research. Like I said, if I'm having a guest on, I'm not researching you. Maybe I'll troll your page a little bit and see your work and see what you're all about, but I'm not about to sit down and write a freaking soliloquy or a fucking paragraph about who you are and what you do. No, that's your job. I'm merely facilitating the microphones and the cameras, and you're here and you tell everybody your social medias, you tell everybody what it is you do. You tell everybody all those things, not me. I'm just going to ask questions as if anybody would. And when I'm truly interested in someone, it shows. And not to say that when it's awkward that I'm not interested, because a lot of times when I sit down to this table, when I sit down to start a podcast, I am excited. 100%. I am excited to do a podcast. If I could do one every single day, I would. If I could do them multiple times a day, I would love that. And I would gladly do it. But time permits, I don't have that time right now, and I just don't have the luxury to do that. So somebody's giving us the thumbs up. Thank you. But like I said, this is my guest's podcast, and today I'm the guest, so I'm just telling you about my shit. So if you're interested in coming on the podcast, just hit me up on Instagram. That's where I kind of live the most. I am on X. I am on TikTok. You can find me there. I have found a couple of different guests that we've had on from TikTok, which is always interesting to me, but I am very heavily into like the Jack's TikTok page. I got that and the motorcycle page, Bike Talk. I've got who doesn't have golf girls on their page? Of course I do. Not that I'm a pervert. I just have a fucking thing. I like that. I think it's a cool look. I like muscle mommies. I love women. Not saying I'm a womanizer or anything like that. I respect and I love all of y'all. So I'm glad that they're here on this earth. So I will support those things. But getting back, I want to get back to the support thing. Let me see, what did I mention back? Okay, let's just bring the conversation up. She said, I see what you mean, but if people love you, they should want to support you, especially if you're trying to grow a business. Liking, commenting, sharing is the least they can do. 100%. I'm not telling anybody not to. I'm just not going to gaslight my family and my friends into doing it. I'm not going to make them feel bad for not liking and sharing and commenting and all the things. Nor am I going to say anything to them when they come into my home or when I see them out and about. And, I know you saw my shit. You could have, just hit me with a share. So what I said was true, but this kind of thing right here, pointing out how much people are your personal haters. In my opinion, that's dead wrong. People have all kinds of reasons for not sharing, commenting, liking their friends' stuff. Maybe it doesn't line up with their values or doesn't fit the theme of their content, the content they make. Either way, I'm going to still love them, even if they don't like and share my stuff. However, I do appreciate you, Sister Sue, for liking and sharing mine. I be hitting yours when I see it too, which I do. because I am a multimedia type of person, like my platform, I have lots of different types of people come on my show. But I have already spoken to so many people, and I follow so many people already that if I shared every single person's content that I love and know, even just my closest friends, like, that's all you're going to see, and it's going to look like my page will it'll start to look like one of those hype up pages, like every city, every state, I'm sure has them. Send it to me. I'm like, you don't need to send it to you. You can just share it from where it's at. You want me to send you the fucking video? No. But yeah, all those little bots and stuff like that, I'm sure they have those in every city, every town, whatever. But like, I don't find it necessary. So, at any rate, I don't want my page to look like that. I don't know what I want my page to look like, but I would definitely, I repost and I share shit that makes me laugh or I identify with. That's kind of my motif on stories for Instagram. Now, occasionally, like I said, someone that's doing something really cool, which all of my friends do really cool shit. If you come across, hey girl, your last name threw me off. We were just talking about you. At any rate, what the fuck was I saying before Amanda came in? It doesn't matter. I was just ranting about this thing that we were talking about earlier today, Amanda. I hope you don't mind. I wasn't trying to it was nothing negative towards you. We just had a discussion about these things. Like I said, I'm strongly, I think differently than most people, and I will share my opinion. But anyways, where was I? This is so hard to do your own podcast, especially when it's live. Like, who am I even? If you guys don't know, I'm gonna send you over. Go to my friend Amanda's page. I'm gonna send you guys over there. Why am I doing it here? I could do it here. I can just show you. Where's my keyboard? There we are. Fit with _ Amanda. There she is. Everybody go over there and give her a follow, shall you? Let's do that. But now I remember what I was talking about. I was saying that I know too many people, and I can't afford to just share everybody's stuff. And plus, there's that stupid ass algorithm on Instagram, which I hate. Does anybody hate the algorithm on Instagram and TikTok and all the algorithms? An algorithm to me, I'm very heavy on free speech. I'm very heavy on, even if it's bad things that people say or it doesn't line up with our values and goals, I feel like they should have a right to speak. Now, that does a couple of things. When you bring yourself onto the marketplace of ideas, you open yourself up for criticism. You open yourself up for, negative comments and things of that nature. And you have to be ready for that, especially if you have a point of view that is just not popular or it's kind of poisonous. And you guys can make your own assumptions as to what I'm talking about. But, for me, it lets me know who you are and where you're at, and I know who to block. I know who to stay away from. That's kind of my thing. What is happening here? Okay, there we go. That to me, that would be one of the pluses of having someone like a fucking, that I don't agree with. Let me just say that I'm not going to give any specifics, but someone that I don't agree with, or somebody that's saying something that's just, negative towards a certain group of people. My friend Tristan, he said, I'm just going to cut myself off. And he said, I think IG only promotes IG models and slow people, which is probably true. Probably true. Yeah. I don't, if I had a nice rack, sorry for calling it a rack, ladies, but if I had a nice rack and a nice caboose and, you know, it wasn't quite as hairy, and I was actually a female, I'd probably do a lot better at the old podcasting thing. I mean, it just kind of stands to reason that, like, the number 2 podcast in America, I'll have to verify this because I'm not 100% sure. But let's see. Let's start a new page here. Let's go to Google. All right, let's see. I get Pat shit all the time for keying the wrong buttons. Let's do in the world first. Yeah, as we all thought, it's Joe Rogan. In the fucking world. Can you imagine the number 1 podcast in the world? Could you imagine? All right, let's go to the number 2 podcast. All right. TED Talks Daily. Interesting. I guess that's all types of people. That's not just oh, here we go. Spotify. This is just Spotify. Podcast charts on Spotify. So we've got really? I've never even seen this. Okay. So Joe Rogan's number 1, Mystery Mondays, Bella Fiore. I don't know who that is. I probably should know, but I'm so culturally out of the fucking loop. I have no idea, but she does Mystery Mondays. And then the number 3 podcast is Call Her Daddy. You know, and so it looks like 2 of the top 3 are females. The only reason Joe Rogan is even popular at all is because he was an actor, He built his empire over years. These people are starting out, and they're already at number 2 and 3. Let's see. Create an AI thirst trap with the biggest rack of lambs God has ever made. What's really funny is you say that, and I know you've been playing with AI. You can do that. And there's people that already are doing that and are making a mint on a fake person. You know, it's not hard. Apparently. I don't know. Now, what was it? What? Oh God, I saw something about AI, and was it YouTube? I think it's YouTube. I don't know if Instagram has this thing going yet, but YouTube is cracking down on AI. And what I mean by that is that if they're only promoting, I don't think they're going to promote it. I don't think they're going to you can post it, but they're just not going to, it's not going to be a promoted video. So what I mean, they're not monetizing. That's right, Tristan. You're right. They're not paying for AI pages. So if you do, and not only that, but I think it's too, because I follow a lot of like sound pages. Like I like to listen to rain sounds at night, and it's like 10 hours long, and it's just the audio. And in the beginning, there's like a 30-second clip of a old rainy town or something like that, and then it'll be it'll go to black after that. It's just black screen, so that you can get a sleepy by. But like that, I wonder if those accounts are being monetized or if they're getting cut as well, because that is something I was thinking about doing. To be honest, I was thinking about becoming like starting a new YouTube page and creating my own, because you can make hours of music, AI music right now. And I mean, honestly, all you got to do is just type in the sounds of rain with some thunder every minute and a half, and it'll do it. And I'll say I want it for 10 hours, or you can just take it into Adobe Audition and just loop cut that shit and export it, and you're done. Upload it with a picture, bam, boom. Yeah, I think those pages make a lot of bank too. Because I looked at their download, not downloads, but their views and their subscriber counts, and holy shit, there's a lot of people that can't sleep at night, apparently. But it's not only that, but like there's pages with like just all different types of audio, not just rain sounds, but it's just anything. And they'll have like, psychedelic visuals and stuff like that. Those are my favorite. But yeah, I mean, I thought about doing something like that just to make a little extra side money, because it's really, I mean, if you know how to use the editing programs, it's not that damn hard to create a 10-hour loop. And you don't even need a 10-hour loop. The only reason I like the 10-hour loops because, I only sleep about 3 hours, and right about the 3 or 3.5, maybe 4 hour mark is when they'll insert a fucking ad, and nothing will wake your ass up faster than, have you tried? And it's just like cuts in and just fucks up the noise and your sleep rhythm and everything. So I don't like that. But for sure, I'm gonna have to do some more research. Thank you, Tristan, for jumping in there and saying that, because you did remind me that it's just they're just not monetizing those pages. So I appreciate that, buddy. You're always there for me, man. When I need you, you're always there. We appreciate it. I'm gonna take hang on. Let's do this real quick. I bet you $10 you don't know what I was just doing. I don't have $10 to bet. I've never been a betting man, and I think it's smarter to not bet. So if you're wondering, I did have a guest for this evening lined up. I hadn't posted anything about it. I'm not going. I won't gonna put you on blast, dude. But I will just tell people that he's a photographer, and we will reschedule him. But he had a gig. Shit happens. He had a gig to go to, and he's been driving all over the place. And he's like roughly my age, maybe a few years younger, maybe about 10 years. My junior, maybe more, maybe like 15 years or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. He's a young man. In my opinion, you're a young man. But yeah, I was looking forward to seeing him, and we're gonna reschedule that. But that's kind of, I like the idea of, I always want to do it like early on in the week. I want to, or like directly after I finish an episode, I want to hurry up and put a trailer out, or just like let you know who's coming on the next week. Now, the only problem I've had with that, and this is part, and I've talked about this before, but part of having a live streaming show is sometimes your guests cancel because of something, whatever it may be. Maybe it's their kid got sick, or they had a gig that went too long, or they're just tired, or, whatever the case may be. I don't ever fault them for those things, not ever. And, shit happens. There's been a couple times when I wanted to just not do this. The last time I skipped an episode, it was like everybody canceled, and I was just like, fuck it. I'm not gonna put myself out. But honestly, I do love doing this. I love, even if there's no one here to talk to. I'm talking to you guys. I appreciate you being in here listening to the pod and interacting. After all that shit I was just talking about, interacting with posts, but like I said, I do appreciate it. I love doing this. I'm a nerd, so I like setting up my cameras. I like trying to get the best look I can, getting the lighting just right, and getting, the audio good. These are the things that I think about. I don't think about anything else. And I can just sit down and just talk to myself. No. No, Tristan. I feel like I'm saying your name wrong every time, dude. I feel like it's Tristan, not Tristan. Or can I say Tristan? I don't care. I mean, I care, but you don't care. I bet you don't care as long as I call you. But I'm not going to call her daddy. But no, I haven't. He asked if I had been shooting lately. I had planned on it. The goal was to get started again. I made a couple of posts on Instagram saying that I was going to start shooting again. It has been over a year. I don't know how long. I'd have to go back to my last. Well, fuck it. Let me go look. The last time I actually posted anything on my page. Let's see. This is my photography page. The last post I made on my page was 27 weeks ago. The fuck? Was that like a little over 2 years? Holy shit. It's been 2 years? Fuck. Michael Nava. Hello, Michael. How are you? I shoot whatever I can shoot. I just want. Before I stopped shooting, I was doing a lot. I was really trying to do a lot more events shooting. If you go to my page, there was a lot of events and things like that. I do like doing candids. I do like help. I like shooting people. I do like working with people. I joke a lot about not liking to work with people because people suck sometimes, and we all know that. But I do love, like, here's my page. Like, this is, these are some of the things I've done. This is a behind the scenes that I did. This is for a band, that they're buddies of mine. We went to school together, and I just got to do some work with them while they were, and actually, which was really cool, they used some of my photos for their cover art on some of their shit. So I was really stoked about that. Like, I don't know if that's one. I think they used this one. I think so. Nope, it's this one. They used that on their page quite a bit. And and I really enjoy working with I like working with bands in a non-band setting, if you know what I'm saying. The guy I was supposed to have this evening, he shoots bands, and this is my friend, and I worked with, we'll go to her page so I can show you. This is Miss Caitlin. This is her page. She's so gorgeous. Look at her. Let's go back to my page now. This is some stuff I did with her in her own backyard. And we just had a good old time. It was just fun. It was just fun. I don't like putting too much pressure on me, These are fun. And I got to put her little doggy in there, which I was more interested in working with the dog. I'm kidding, Caitlin. I'm totally joking. You're right. You're right. It's not good to shoot people, and I'm talking about photography, not guns. Let me clarify. Oh, well, what happened there? I don't know. These, let me just say, some of these photos, these are like candids of family members and stuff like that. And hey, look, there's Amanda. These are fun for me. There's my friend Josie. This was, I love this shot. The reflection, I love all of that. Your hands are up right now? Yeah, dude, me too. This was from an event. I can't remember what it was. It was some sort of, God, what was it? I don't know, but I shot this, and to me, I love how this came out. Now, I will tell you that this is not how the color was a lot lighter. The backdrop was not green. I changed all of that, in my editing process. But this one was one of my favorites to edit, and I wish I would have added the original with that. But I know I did make a reel to go along with that. Let me see if I can find it. Where's my reels? Oh, hey, look at that. Look at that guy. Look at that guy right there. That's Tristan, guys. Let's see if I can find the reel. Boy, I'll tell you what. Let me just get it off of there because I don't want to see that just yet. Okay. So this is the reel that I made, and I showed my editing process through the Lightroom app. if you don't know already, when you go to export your photo from Lightroom, if you scroll down to the bottom, it'll say like show your work or show your process, and it'll give you one of these videos. So I'm going to show that right now. I wish I could full screen this, but I can't. So I did make a video about that. Well, that was what that video was for. Like I did make a reel talking about like, hey, did you know you guys could do this or what have you? Okay. Let's see. No pew pews, just shutter sounds. That's right. That's right. Cameras only, baby. I am not a big gun toter, but I believe in the right to own the guns. I think that everyone should have. I have a few. I've got a couple in this house. No one's ever going to know how many I have or what they are or where they're at. Point blank. I think it's weird when people start posting their fucking guns everywhere, like, you know, on social media. It's like you're just telling them, hey, this is what I have. Come and get it. You know, because there was a point in time when, you know, they were really after people's guns. And I don't, just like free speech, I think that, you know, the right to bear arms is definitely a right that I enjoy. And I think that we should all enjoy. And I am one of those people that believes that, you know, a well-armed society is a polite society. Now, the problem is there are those out there that are well-armed and they do bad with their weapons. But again, it's the people, not the guns. I think that, you know, through education, through outreach, there's lots of different ways we can kind of head this off. A lot of times when people, you know, when they fall into a life of crime where they use the guns for crime, I feel like it's situational. I feel like it's the environment they grew up in. I feel like there are certain areas in every single town you go into that, and you guys, you know, you can call in also if you just go, let's see. Let me go back. I'm already on my Instagram, so I'm going to just go there. I don't know if it'll show you here. No, it won't. So I'll have to show you on here. But if you go here and Amanda, I'm going to use you. But if you go right here, focus. See the little phone right there inside the message? You can hit that and you can call in if you feel like it. So feel free to do that. I have my Bluetooth set up on my phone so we can take the call through the audio device there. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of outreach programs that need to be supported. Talk about supporting, you know, like my friend Jay from the Jay Foundation. He did they do every year. They do a backpack drive where he buys himself. He has like 5 jobs, this guy, to afford himself the luxury of being able to help these young men and women out that are disenfranchised. Okay. And I think that there's a lot of areas throughout every state, every city that has those areas where they're disenfranchised. And that's just a really nice thesaurus way of saying they're poor and there's no opportunity in their area, and the future is bleak for them. So it's like, how do I get out of this situation? They have a really hard time trying to figure out how to get out of the life that they're in, and the only way that they can see that they can get out of that is by the example that's laid out in front of them for their entire lives. They grow up with people that are, you know, gangbangers and what have you. So it just is a normal process. It's a normal thing day to day. It's like, oh, these guys are here. When I get a certain age, I'm going to be there. And that's what they look at them like they're their heroes and that they're cool and all this other good stuff. And some of them are cool. And some of them will tell the young people, you don't want no part of this life. And for those people, they deserve kudos, because they know that the life is hard. The life is not. It's unforgiving, and it leads nowhere. The only place it leads is to a casket most of the time. Whoa, sorry. But people like Jay are going out there every single day, and he talks to those young men and women out there, those young people, and he shows them that there is another way, and it's going to be a lot harder. It's like it's going to be walking. You have to survive the fire, and it's going to be a little bit harder to get the goal that you want to get to, but you can make it. You can attain that goal. It's totally achievable. And he shows them a different way. He'll take them to. He's got friends in real estate. He takes them to their offices. They teach them about real estate. He's brought one of his guys here, and we had a conversation. A guy named Truth. Shout out Truth. I hate that thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm gonna get rid of it. The guests love when we shout them out, and their friends and stuff like that too. But yeah, what was I saying? But yeah, I mean, so he really gets involved, and I think today, I'm pretty sure it was either today or yesterday, but they just had a backpack drive where he literally buys all of these things himself with his own money, has them shipped to his house. Which I was talking to him last week, and he had some of them were stolen, or they just were never shipped. I don't know. We don't know yet, but there was quite a few that was missing. But he gives these kids that are getting ready to go back to school, and they don't have things. They don't have all the school supplies that they need. And I think that one of the ways he wants people to support him is to bring school supplies, bring backpacks, bring lunch boxes, bring anything that you can bring and get involved. And I wanted to be a part of that, and I totally missed it because I'm stupid. Now, I mean, I have my excuses, but I don't want to make excuses, especially with someone like Jay, because he's, I don't like giving excuses anyways. A lot of times, which is really crazy to me, like say you get in trouble at work and they ask you how come this happened, and you start telling them, and they say, look, you're just giving me excuses. And I'm like, well, no, I'm just explaining to you. But for me personally, it's like, there's no excuse. I fucked up. I'm done. That's it. Move on. We just keep it popping. But yeah, I deeply respect Jay and what he's doing. And, I wish him all the best, and I think he is a real blessing out there to those people. I think they love him, and if you can, go support that guy. But I'm totally at a loss. Oh yeah, we were talking about guns and rights and stuff like that. I say we, it was me, but yeah. So, but that doesn't mean I'm right wing. Let's clear this up. Just because you think about this one thing, and you support this one thing, doesn't mean that you're like if anybody ever lumps me into a category that I'm right or left or red or blue, they can all purse their lips like this and just press them right to my asshole, because I am. First of all, I'm not very political at all. I'm just not. I mean, with the age, you kind of get more religious and you get more political, and that's just how it happens. But, you start realizing that, hey, I'm not a kid anymore, and I know I have to get involved in this shit. So, at least to some point. But watching shit on X and seeing things on TikTok, people talking about politics, reading things on Facebook, seeing posts on Instagram, I don't believe any of that shit, and I usually turn it off and look away. Now, if somebody posts something and they say something that really sparks my interest, and I'm like, is that real? I always ask the question, is that real? And then I go, obviously I go to Google, because that's what we all do. Everybody does. But I go to Google and I'm like, hey, is this real? and then I see whatever they see, whatever they show me. But I won't just take like the first, I always go down. I keep going and scrolling and looking at different pages because you can find shit on that says this thing is bad, and you can find shit that says this thing is good, or this thing is fake and this thing is real. But it's equal about the people that make the content. So it's always, I always just say, sources, bro. Like mind your sources. Like where are you getting this information from? So I urge everyone to really be careful and to be cognizant of where they're getting their information from. If you're getting information from me, well, that's your first mistake, because I'm not an information podcast. I mean, not me. The information that comes on this podcast comes from the guest, and currently I have no guest. So, but yeah, it's just one of them deals, man. You gotta read everything. You have to watch everything. You have to really investigate. You have to do your due diligence. You've got to investigate more than just seeing a clip on TikTok or someone talking about it on TikTok. Because when people that are not they're not professionals, and they don't know how to just tell a story about the thing that happened. They don't know how to just say, this thing is a thing that happened. Here's my sources. They're like, they want to put their bias on it, and I think that is the most fucked up thing. And usually whenever somebody comes with a bias towards something political, like, I like this, I like that, or I don't like that, whatever it is, I immediately flip the page. I just move it up. I don't stop and comment and say anything negative, because first of all, that will boost them. But second of all, it don't concern me. I don't care. I just keep it popping. Now, that leads me to the other crisis that I have in my life, which I'm sure a lot of you are having the same crisis. I want to get more healthy. I want to be more fit. I want to get my body back to where I feel better every day. And I have been working out. Some guns. Look at that. Pew, pew, pew. And when I say I'm working out, I'm doing all just body weight, calisthenic type workouts. I do body weight squats. I do push-ups. I do crunches and sit-ups. Those are the only things that I do. I do them before bed, and I do them when I wake up in the morning. So I'm getting at least 2 sets. But until I can get my body to where I feel stronger, I'm not going to the gym. It doesn't make any sense. If I can't sit down and do 100 push-ups in one sitting, what the hell? Why do I need to go and pay for a membership to a gym where I can barely lift any weight at all? That's just my personal opinion. This is me being biased towards my own body. But yeah, I that's just kind of how I'm doing shit right now. But one of my biggest detractors from me being healthy, and and some of you guys might say that this is an excuse, but it is social media, and I have been doing my damnedest to stay the hell off of social media. However, after working 12 hours in a day, you kind of get to the point where you're like, I don't fucking want to do anything else. And my job is physical. I probably do about like 15 to 16,000 steps a day. I quit tracking it because I took my I have 2 smartwatches. I stopped wearing them. I like smartwatches. They're really neat because I'm a nerd, like we talked about. I like gear and electronics and all those types of things. But I feel like I don't want to be that fucking accessible. Okay, and what I mean by that is on my watch, and I know I could set it up to turn those notifications for certain things off, whatever. But I'm getting phone calls on my watch. I'm getting text messages on my watch. I'm getting app messages on my watch. I'm getting emails on my watch. It's constantly going off. It drives me batshit crazy because when I hear the watch go off, I want to pull my phone out of my back pocket and check. And that's just, it's time consuming. I am there to do a job, and if I'm at work and you're texting me, if I respond to you, that's because I'm either sitting down at lunch or I'm outside on a quick break. Sometimes I do vape, so sometimes I'll go outside and hit a little puff, and I'll respond to people at that moment. And but outside of that, my Instagram, my TikTok, all I use it for is just uploading clips. That's what it's become, just clips. Occasionally, I'll upload something that's not just a clip. I try to keep those onto the stories only, so that way they just disappear. And if they don't do real well, I'm kind of split testing. Like, hey, did this do well? Did it not do well? If it didn't do well, I'm not going to do one of those again, even though I like doing them. They're fun. Like me riding on my motorcycle. I know my footage has been kind of shit lately, but I like it. I really enjoy letting everybody ride with me. And if I could, I would take you all as my backpack on my bike, and we'd all go for a ride. But that's just kind of what I've been doing lately. But sorry about that. I mean to breathe into the microphone. I have been rambling for over an hour, and my girlfriend just got home from the store, and we have a gathering at my house tomorrow. So we've been cleaning all day. I washed the dogs, cleaned the bathrooms. I've been doing a lot of work on the house. There's a lot of little finishing details that I needed to do, but I ran out of money whenever I had the contractors here. Shout out HD Repairs, HD Home Repair. They're great people. If you need anything worked on your house, you need to go find them guys. You can find their link in my stories or in my reels. You just look for HD Home Repairs. But yeah, those guys are great. But I ran out of money, and I'm not going to ask them to fucking do free work. Fuck that shit. I don't want to work for free. Maybe I'll get back to that too. Free work. Remember that. But yeah, shit. I just totally lost my train of thought. Free work. We'll just go to that. Fuck it. This is like the ADHD podcast tonight. But back to photography. I need to get back into it. It's been a while. I had made some posts about it on social media, and I know I want to re-up my portfolio. I want to start I really just want to start my Instagram over again, but I want to work with people. I want to work with, solo people, families, females, males, it doesn't matter. I want to work with some of those people, and I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of free shit. Okay? And I'm fine with that. I don't mind doing the free shit. As long as everyone knows that at a certain point, I'm going to stop with the free shit and start charging again. The only reason I'm doing free shit is you get cool pictures, hopefully, and then I get to work and practice. That's it. TFP for me is trade for pics. It's you get pictures, I get practice. That's it. I have no ulterior motive here. But I do. Obviously, I will. I'm gonna bank a lot of that shit, and then I'm gonna just flood the fucking page with it. So it just kind of pushes everything else down in my grid. I don't care about my grid. I don't. I'm not one of those weird people that do that. But my ultimate goal is to start shooting again and working with people. I can't get myself into a weird place that I was in last time where I was feeling some kind of way about working with people, feeling like I allowed, and not only did I allow it, but I advocated for them to take advantage of me and by saying I trained them to do it by saying, I want to do this for you. Don't pay me, which is really fucking stupid on my part. So I'm not going to do that again. Okay. Just so all my friends know, if you want work done, you're going to have to pay. And now that's one of those things. If I reach out to you and you're okay with doing trade for pics, we'll do that. If you reach out to me and it's a really cool, either you're going to have a really, really cool idea. And that means makeup, hair, and costume, all that stuff, whatever location picked out. All that stuff has to be ready to go, or you have to pay me, because just reaching out to me and saying we should work together is not enough. You need to schedule it. You need to book it with me. We need to sit down, and you and I will. If you're one of those people that wants to work with me, we can talk about the payment or not payment, what we're going to do, what have you. Now, if I have an idea for something I want to do and I tap somebody, I'm not above paying them. Now, I can't do that for every single model, which is why I trade for prints, trade for pics, all that TFP. That's why that's in place. And as a photographer, it's a really, it helps. You get practice. You get stuff to upload. And for a newer upcoming model, you get something to put in your portfolio. So, and you better be printing those things out and putting them into your portfolio, or just going on a website and making a book with all your pictures. Because I'm here to tell you, if you want me to work with you and I say, show me your portfolio, and you pull up your fucking IG account, like, I'm going to smack your phone out of your hand and I'm going to walk away. I don't want to see that shit. Okay. I'm going to end on that. Thank you again, guys, for popping in. You know, all you guys, Michael, Amanda, Tristan, a.k.a. Urban Curse. You know, everybody, you can follow those people as well. My friend Michael there and Amanda, they're both fitness gurus. I think you can find his page through her page. They're dating. Shh, don't tell anybody. And you go find, I think it's Undiluted Vision. I'm going to make sure. Boy, my internet is sucking right now. That's because I'm in messages. Nope, the internet's a piece of shit. Yeah, Undiluted Vision, aka also Undivision LLC, or The Urban Curse. So go follow those guys. Yeah, and we'll see what happens next week. I have, let's see, should I tell you who's coming on? Oh, I have no one. I have no one coming on next week, and I believe I have no one coming on the 2nd of August. Let me double check on the 9th. Yeah. So I'm not booked for the next the next 3 weeks. But on the 16th, we've got Nick and Joey from the OG Sessions pod. They're going to be popping in. So that should be fun. But I'll find somebody to talk to between now and then, or, it'll just be me and Pat. I like those podcasts too. I really love talking to Pat. He's very smart, and I enjoy his, picking his little brain. And it's not a little brain; he's got a big brain. But love you guys, and I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next week.